and all this kind of stuff. And this is how it really works. That's why Rothschild said, give me control of your money system, and I care not who rules the country, because he knew from previous experience that whoever rules the money rules the whole country anyway, and the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister must go to the banker for cap in hand every year for his cash, you know. So money rules, and they're, as I say, they're interbred psychopaths too. And you find the Rothschilds are intermarried with the royal families of Britain and Europe as well. So we're run by psychopaths on all levels. Some of the other ones too, by the way, it's interesting, go into the military. They just shoot up through the ranks naturally, probably hardly attended, in fact, but they end up being in charge at the top levels of military. So there you have your royal powers for ultimate laws. You have your financial industry bodies there that govern the whole finance of the whole country. They use the people like peasants for taxation to fund their wars and their loans and all the rest of it. And then you have guys at the top of the military who decide to take you off to war. So they have the little plans that really are secret plans from the public. The public's never to know the real reasons for anything, and they never do. They're never told the real reasons for any war. Or the real reasons for anything happening within their country. So psychopaths really, and I've said this, all people who are going to be in charge or given power over any citizen should be tested for psychopathy. You got to start with that, number one, that rule right off the bat. And that goes for your money system and every other system there is, because psychopaths, once they get in, they can cause so much damage so quickly. And by the way, they recognize each other. They find each other very quickly. They instantly recognize another psychopath, and they form little societies that end up ruling big chunks of the world, like the Council on Foreign Relations.
They are a cancer, and they must be routed out. They are the vampires, not physical vampires, but spiritually, and they have to be routed, or they will continue to feed on us. Look at this headline out of CBS News. Denver collects fines on drivers who stop at red lights, and if their bumper just goes 1 inch over the white line, again, but then the system can commit any crimes they want. Alan Watt is our guest right now. Jesse Ventura called me last night about the whole TSA thing and said he would try to call us after the press conference, but we'll see what happens with that. That's scheduled to happen around noon. We're going to have Alan Watt with us till 5 after. Then Jim Mars is going to be popping in and look at the banking and the whole world, the wars that are coming up and the rest of it. I want to go to Lauren, Patrick, John Lee, and Chantel and others that are wanting to talk to Alan Watt. Just briefly, Alan, what's your view on this whole Iran situation?
Well, I was pretty certain that of how geopolitics was going to run this one, and it has turned out this way. I knew that Israel would... You see, Israel if you read the old newspapers from Israel, you'll find that for the new American century put out their list of countries they wanted to just take down. They had Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, they had Libya, they had Iran, Egypt, etc., all on the list. And, of course, Obama is just following the same list. He was even congratulated by Rumsfeld for doing so. And but Israel kept telling the U.S. and the Israeli papers, don't stop at this country, keep going. They were really ticked off that the U.S. wasn't going through them all one after another. They have these long pauses in between. So this time I thought, well, Israel will have to, for the appearance's sake, and that's as far as for appearance's sake, Israel will come up and stand up and say, we're going to attack. And then the media will come out and say that's putting pressure on the U.S., who doesn't want a full-scale attack on Iran. And therefore, they'll step up their sanctions, they'll step up, they'll take over. And that's exactly how they're playing it out. They get Israel to come out first with a threatened strike on Iran, and the U.S. will step in saying, we're the protector, we'll handle that. And then the U.S. takes the blame, pays the cost of it, financially and in blood as well. And that's the whole region then cleared. There's only one dominant country to be allowed in that whole region. That was decided and talked about before they even set up the State of Israel. So you're simply watching a very old plan work out on time, on cue, the way that they planned it.
Yep. Let's go ahead and talk to John in Wisconsin. John, you're on the air. Welcome.
Hi. It's a real pleasure to speak to you guys. Obviously, InfoWars, Prison Planet, and Cutting Through the Matrix, they're daily visits for me and most of the audience out there. So, I mean, that's about as high a praise I can offer.
Thank you.
I kind of want to change the subject just a little bit. I saw this movie recently about Lyme disease and just how it's spreading all over the place, and the fact that there's a real ignorance as far as, you know, how to treat the disease. And it seems like the medical establishment, through their publishing and through all their indoctrination, have all these doctors under wraps, you know. And I kind of wonder if they have it as like this giant, you know, roving horde of, you know, infected deer and infected ticks that they're controlling through the DNR. And I mean, how integrated is all this?
Well, we know Lyme disease is pretty much on record. Deer swam from Plum Island over to New York. It's less than a mile. Deer do that. And it was a zoological weapons base. They brought Nazis over there after World War II. It's on record. And so Lyme disease is a souped-up, weaponized system. And, yeah, it's all part of their degenerative disease weapon program. And then they just shelve and then don't cover under insurance all the real treatments for things. Alan?
It's actually older. It was invented in Canada during World War II. And there's a good book out there. It's called Deadly Allies, Canada's Secret War. Canada has led the field in bacterial and viral warfare during and since World War II.
Yeah, I knew about that, but the word I got, but the main spread point they said was they particularly weaponized it even more at Plum Island.
Yeah, they sent it down to Plum Island in the States to be worked on, and the vector that they chose was, of course, at the time it was ticks. They dropped it from planes at one point across the western part of Canada onto deer herds to see how it would spread, and then it spread amongst the populations. And then eventually, of course, they've actually weaponized it now. It's been in the papers in Canada that mosquitoes can carry it now as well.
So they're just going to dole out all this in a loving way to kill you and your family, your children. You know, they love degenerative diseases. It's just another little loving goody-good. Do you want to add anything else, John?
Do I add a little bit?
All right, stay there. We're going to come back. The government loves you.
This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now, new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365. Hello, I'm Alex Jones. Myself, my family, the Infowars.com team want to relay to you and your families that we are intensifying our efforts against the globalist on every front. Infowars.com is leading the fight against the technocrats. But we can't do that without your help. By getting the films, bumper stickers, and T-shirts at Infowars.com, you will wake up people in your area and support our operation as we move to the next level. We need your help to spread the word like never before. They wish to hide themselves during this tectonic battle between the forces of freedom and darkness. You are the response to the globalist technocrats and their program of global eugenics, dehumanization, and ultimate extermination. The war is here. It's an info war. The spirit of 1776 versus the mindset of 1984.
We all know that Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
All the leaves are brown, and the sky is gray, and the sky is gray.
By the way, we are coming into the tail end of the official 2011 Money Bomb. We find ourselves through PrisonPlanet.tv subscriptions, sponsors, book sales, videos, but we're selling books for $5 a piece, and that's what it basically cost us to have them. Well, not basically, it actually cost more than that. Which, like, say, Mark Dice's book. Or when we're giving out, selling the bumper stickers at cost, it just doesn't fund things. And so pure capital expenditures allowing us to continue and grow. It's thanks to you, and thanks to folks donating at InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com. That's InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com. We've also got a lot of one-of-a-kind memorabilia and stuff up at the eBay account. That's on the bottom of InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com. You can donate there on the side, or you can buy books, videos, get a free trial subscription at PrisonPlanet.tv, and then keep the subscription in 15 days. Again, we just couldn't do any of this without you and all of our great AM and FM affiliates as well. Be sure and support them and local sponsors. Okay, finishing up, John, on the loving Lyme's disease, which you can go research, is a bioweapon, and it's just all part of the nastiness of the globalist.
Do either of you guys know if there's like a correlation between chronic wasting disease and Lyme disease? Is that sort of the same condition, or?
Yeah, there's all sorts of little carrier weapons they can put into ticks and other systems. And now Bill Gates has said they're releasing the mosquitoes that are genetically engineered. They'll put whatever they want in them, and they're going to give it to you. And that's the way it is, because he's smiling and dances around, and we're all trained. If it's an authority figure, they can kill us. And that's just how it works. They
want to control the hinterland so that, any rebels that are gathering will just die of some kind of disease because they've been infected.
It's even more than that. You're on right track, though. There's been a big scare here a few years ago, and where I am, at the whole northern area, and they tried to say that not just Lyme's disease, but also the various other diseases spread by mosquitoes was on the way. And they had everybody terrified. People were wearing full jackets of the mesh, the mosquito mesh. Even gardeners were wearing them. They were terrified.
Hey, it's even in mainstream news, Alan, interrupt you, because you were saying that West Nile came out of a government weapon program. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and that kind of fizzled away, that one, and terrified people too. But you start to get the impression it's just not safe to live in the country anymore. And of course, what they'll do, and what they have been doing, is say, well, we can actually spray and keep down the mosquitoes around cities, but we can, of course, spray outside of the cities, etc., etc. So everything now is to get everyone off of the rural areas. That's all part of the big agenda written in lots of different programs, into the big cities for the communitarian lifestyle. So we're going to be watched, tracked, and traced. It's much cheaper for them to watch us when we're all collectively stuck together and crammed together.
And by the way, it's all on record that our government, other governments, sterilizing people, killing foster children, pesticides, half the native kids they get their hands on die in Canada, mainstream news, and biological, chemical, radiological, injecting people with syphilis, polio. I mean, the governments have been caught thousands of times doing this, radiating little children, and people are like, but it's the government. Don't be anti-government. Love your psychopaths.
Yeah.
Hand your guns in. They want to help you. The troops need to use DU, which kills them, but it takes 20 years. Be patriotic. Let the troops be killed by the government.
And remember, too, that You're quite right. We're under. See, people keep asking me all the time, when is this all going to start? I say, well, it's already started. Since the 50s onwards, the cancer rates have just massively exploded. There's no panic about it, by the way. When there's no panic about it, that means it's under their control. They're behind it all, the big boys. They know what's causing it because they made sure they gave us all the products, the injections, and so on. They do cause it. So they're exploding. And an article recently from the World Health Organization said the third world countries were now bringing up to a higher standard of living through the GATT Treaty and the World Trade Organization.
Stay there. I want to hear about